in the interest of time, let's get started. And meanwhile, participants and attendees can keep joining. So hello, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening based on the locations that you are working out of. Welcome to our today's roundtable on digital disruption and quality engineering, how emerging technologies are revolutionizing the software quality assurance and testing space. Today, we have a group of experts who will shed light on the transformative impact of emerging technologies in the software testing domain. Before we move further, I would like to introduce our moderator and panelists for today's roundtable. Lakshman Kaveti, who is CEO of NHOPS and Chief Corporate Development Officer at PROAC, is going to be our moderator for today's roundtable. He brings with him more than 15 plus years of experience in strategic techno-business role, where he has helped multiple organizations chart out their digital transformation journeys. Moving on to a distinguished set of panelists, we have with us Joydeep Tiwari, Vice President of Engineering at Una Brands. Joy brings with him wealth of experience in creating user-centric technology solutions in retail and e-commerce domain. He believes and a firm believer in continuous testing, cybersecurity, and agile testing practices. Joy believes in the power of combining digital strategies, tech landscape, and user experience to drive innovation throughout organization. Our second guest is Kalyan Gupta, Managing Director at Kabul Tech. Kalyan is an industry veteran in the information technology and services industry. He has helped multiple organizations solve their most data pressing challenges, and he believes in the power of data-driven insights that can help business leaders in making empowered decisions. Our third panelist is Kishore Bura, Managing Director at Energy Tech Global. Kishore is a senior business professional and has helped multiple organizations deliver exceptional business transformation with an aim of improving business, customer, and stakeholder outcomes. I would like to welcome all of you, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts and perspectives about the topic that we are discussing today. I would also encourage our audience to actively engage with our speakers by posing their questions in the chat window once we open up the Q&A session. So without further ado, let's commence this session. And now I would like to hand over reins to our moderator, Lakshman Kaveti. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Roma. Firstly, welcome to the distinguished panelists, Joy, Kalyan, and Kishore. I very much look forward to having a great conversation and some insights to share with everyone. So as Roma shared, the topic that we are going to discuss is digital disruption and quality engineering, how emerging technologies are revolutionizing quality assurance in software and testing in general. So in the current day and age, the consumerization through digital means and the advent of new technologies has put digitization and digital transformation with high quality front and center for any businesses. So quality assurance, quality engineering cannot be afterthought anymore. It has to be very much integrated into the digital transformation itself. And lately, what we have seen is it's become a board topic. So businesses are using digital means to improve the customer experience, customer retention, increase customer lifetime value, create new product lines, revenue streams, increase operational efficiencies, and so on and so forth. So there was a common misconception to dispel that quality assurance means functional and automation testing. From our vantage point, it includes so many things, and one needs to look at it holistically, like customer experience, performance engineering, software test, security testing, interoperability, API testing, so on and so forth. So the point is we need to look at it holistically. All of this have made quality assurance first thought and essential feature to attain business goals and success in the endeavors, especially for the top business officials. So with that context, I want to open it up to some questions. So my first question to Joy, what are your thoughts on digital disruption and quality engineering? And if you think they go hand in hand, could you please elaborate?
Sure. Thanks, Lakshman. Firstly, hello everyone, and thanks again to INOPS and to our team for inviting me to the discussion. And we're super happy to share the stage with Kalyan, Kishore, and obviously Lakshman. Of course, I think it's a very, very pertinent question. If you look at the last 3 years specifically, the whole landscape in each and every industry, in each and every company has changed completely, and everyone is talking about tech. They want to build new features, roll out new features. They want to become more customer centric or user centric, and they want to build mobile apps, websites, and so on and so forth. We know that digital disruption has happened in a big way in the last 3 years. And given the trajectory, I'm pretty sure all of us agree that it will continue at the same rate. At the same time, people or companies have also understood that they can't go to the user with a okay or so website with not even quality tested or not a secure website and things like that. If you look at it, the example of how Tata knew the super app of Tata Group, how they launched, they did not go for a big bang to say that, okay, it's open for everyone. They had a set of users who could invite another set of users who could invite another set of users. So even a big brand like Tata did a very staggered approach in opening up their big launch of Tata Neu. So for me, it is something that goes hand in hand. Today, any one of us, if we have even the slightest of user friendly experience on any website, we all make sure we find an alternate, and this is where quality testing comes into the picture, because these are the folks sitting in the quality team. They are, I would say, the most hated team with the developers, but they are there for our users. They are the advocates of the users. If they say something, it is very important for any tech leader to say that, yes, this is exactly what the user would say. So whatever the changes or the potential bug is, not to convert it into a feature, but mark it as a bug and make sure you correct it. So yeah, both digital disruption, if you really look at it, it wouldn't be possible without quality testing and making sure we deliver good quality tools to our end users. And I'm just talking about it from I would say a retail or e-commerce point of view right now, but I'm sure with our colleagues here, we can find exact same scenarios in all the other industries as well.
Thank you, Joy, for sharing the insights. I would like for Kishore to share his insights and thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Lakshman, and thanks for the honor. And I'm really happy to be part of this esteemed panel. Before I share my experience, it's pertinent for me to explain who we are, what we do, because only then you would understand what is my vantage point and where my experiences and comments are coming from. So basically, I represent a group called the Energy Collective. We are a leading provider of electricity, gas, and broadband to the citizens of Australia and New Zealand. So we are a technology-led, customer-focused retail business. Basically, we leverage the power of open source technology platform, which we built over the years to achieve both cost efficiency as well as leading market, leading customer experience. And we've got two brands. One is called Electric EV, using which we sell electricity and broadband in New Zealand. And we've got another brand called Reamped Energy in Australia, using which we sell electricity and gas. So Energytech is a 100% subsidiary of the Energy Collective, and we are the IT arm of the business. So basically, for the last 8 years, me and my colleagues, a team of 250 people, we are in the process of building enterprise software solutions for global retail markets using open source technologies. So that's about us. And when I say we are supporting a retail business, so you can understand that we are building websites, we're building mobile apps, we're building back office applications, and which are being used by people living across the length and breadth of the country. Okay, so now coming back to the question whether or not digital disruption and quality engineering are going hand in hand, I believe the answer is yes. And let me explain why do I say so. So I'm sure, going back to relating to Joy's opening remarks, COVID-19 pandemic kind of, played a significant impact on the acceleration of the digital transformation, right? And the role of digital transformation is basically, it's critical for any business, which is continuously in the process of, new inventions and, new product offerings. Quality engineering, on the other hand, is the discipline which focuses on ensuring the quality of the software and the digital solutions. So now the question is why they both should go hand in hand. Whether it is building cutting-edge software products or applying AI and ML and analytics, or doing continuous engineering, or be it developing secure applications, or creating, to Lakshman's point, surreal user experiences, or working on engineering connected devices, whatever it is, quality engineering plays a critical role. And if you look at the IDC report, the worldwide revenue of enterprise applications are going to grow from 279 billion to 385 billion by 2026. That is with a CAGR of 8%. So you can understand the kind of role that quality engineering is playing and the kind of business that it is capable of generating. That itself will give you an answer why it is important. So I would say that, if you are representing an organization who are very keen on accelerating their innovation, they need robust quality engineering practices. There is no second say about it. And if you're representing an organization, and you want it to be always customer-centric, user-centric, then, and you want to provide a seamless, satisfying user experience, then you need to have usability testing, user acceptance testing. And like us, if you are, having applications which are public-facing throughout the country, people are using it, then you need to be taking care of the performance testing, security testing. And also, if you want to ride on the wave of this digital disruption, you want to reduce your development delivery life cycles, which means, you need to be part of the ongoing innovations that are happening around the continuous integration and continuous delivery mechanisms. So yeah, to cut short, I would say that you cannot maintain system integrity without quality engineering. So therefore, I would say they are inseparable and they should go hand in hand.
Thank you, Kishore. Very well summarized. System integrity cannot exist without quality engineering. With that, I would like to hand over to Kalyan to share his thoughts.
Yeah. Thanks. First of all, thanks everyone for giving me this opportunity to be part of this esteemed panel. And I totally agree with what our panelists have mentioned about the developments that has taken place in the past few years, and where this practice is heading towards. Okay, so it is taking a new shape in itself, and it's no longer performed in the traditional way. So in order to keep up with the competition in the market and with the pace at which it is growing, so this quality engineering also is taking its own shape while adapting to new technologies and the practices, and shifting to the left approach, where the testers are being added in the early life cycle of the project rather than dedicating to a particular phase of the projects, and adapting to the tools like the DevOps, RPAs, and AI, ML, and all that. So, and of course, at the end of the day, it's up to the business also to choose what kind of measures are required for them, because there are so many measures that are available in the market, especially in this quality engineering area also. So whether to take automation approach or manual approach, and whether it is a repetitive task, or would they be welcoming the innovative thoughts like only the manual tester can bring in. So the kind of return of investment that they would be expecting out of such automation in place. So a lot of things to talk about. Yes, so that's pretty much I'd like to summarize. But so it's all tied back to the data, where we make the best use of the data that is available. So it's so data is a new oil that we call in these days, and data engineering is the stream that goes hand in hand with quality engineering. where once the data is clean, only then people who are looking at it, at that data would be having quality analysis. Yeah.
Thank you, Kalyan. Could not agree more, especially with the shift left approach, making testing integral part of the SDLC itself. Thank you. To summarize, I think all panelists agree that the landscape is changing. Some of it is induced by COVID-19, some of it is induced by proliferation of the digitization in general. The consistent theme that I've at least heard from everyone is the user experience. One interesting point Joy mentioned, how do we leverage bugs to create new features? Get some insights from that. We got some really good insights about shift left approach, how it could make testing integral part of the SDLC itself. And lastly, how systems should be built and system integrity cannot exist without proper quality engineering practice. So thank you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Moving on to the next question. So I would like for Kishore to start this time. Kishore, what are your thoughts on key technologies and strategies that organizations should focus on creating a robust quality assurance function within your organization or any organization, as a matter of fact?
Yeah, thanks. So I think I will, from my personal experience and the kind of work that we are doing from Energytech for the last 8 years, I would want to put it, put the spotlight on 3 areas. One is the test automation. The other one is continuous integration and continuous CI and CD practices. And then I also would want to talk about the metrics. So to begin with, the test automation. When I'm talking about test automation, I'm fully aware and I'm mindful of the fact that automation cannot replace human testers entirely. And we also know that automation cannot replace the critical thinking and creativity of human testers. And if anyone is thinking that automation can achieve 100% test coverage, that's an illusion. It will not. You can come as close as 89%, 80-90%, but not more than that from my personal experience. And automation is not one-time effort. You have to, and it's not cost saving as well. From day one, it has its own cooling period. You need to invest time. You need to invest effort. But on the long run, you'll be able to get the dividends. So what we did was we implemented our own automation framework after realizing that it is crucial for effective and efficient testing. We have developed our own testing suite, both for web applications, API, back office applications, and we also developed our own suite for performance testing and security testing. This is in addition to developers writing the unit test cases directly into the code base. So, and recently, a year and a half ago, we embarked on a journey of embracing CI/CD. As a result, now all these test cases are now tightly integrated into our development pipeline, exactly to the point what Kalyan was mentioning, the shift left approach, achieving the shift left approach. So it actually helped us to accelerate the testing cycles, improve the test coverage, and also achieve the productivity. So my suggestion is I would highly encourage organizations to invest in selecting the right automation tools, designing robust test scripts and integrating the automation into developing and testing process. And if you achieve that, then you will be getting good dividends from your automation investment. And that's from my personal experience. Second point I would like to highlight is about the continuous integration and continuous delivery, the CI/CD practices. So around COVID time, what we did was we built many applications, as I mentioned, but one of the back office application, a CRM, 50% CRM, 50% compliance application, the code base, millions of lines of code base was built over a period of 8 years. And then during COVID time, we started feeling a bit overwhelmed. Like, we realized that people are spending more time on deployment and maintenance rather than developing new features. The certification was becoming increasingly complex, because if you had to add new features, the testers are getting overwhelmed, because we have built a test suite of maybe 1,500 manual test cases, and out of which 65% of them were automated. So it's becoming quite challenging, and that's when we embraced this CI/CD journey. And I'll tell you some of the benefits that we immediately got as a result of that. Previously, we were depending on the code reviewers to carefully look at whether someone is putting tokens, usernames, passwords, or any other valuable configuration details which might potential risk. I'm talking about code security. So now CI/CD pipelines would surface all that information for you seamlessly, right? And then we used to run dedicated program once every quarter to test or identify the potential attacks on our web applications or REST API using security tools such as OWASP. Now with now with the putting CI/CD practices and everything is being surfaced. And I also wanted to make a disclaimer here: they are not going to be self-healed, right? They would only surface it and in a more systematic manner as part of your development and testing process. So you'll be able to proactively engage people and then ask them to work on it. And because we have integrated all these test cases and part of shift left approach, and developers don't need to wait for testers to run an integration test cycle and then provide the feedback so that they can do bug fixing, and then anxiously waiting for what the test team would say. So we move past that stage as well. And as a result, what happened was we have actually taken people up the value chain, and because of all these things, our number of manual test cases that we need to write have been drastically reduced. But it has not taken away completely. For some of the functional testing, you need to do by writing manual tests and then automating it. But the number has reduced. As a result, we have taken people up the value chain. Some of them started writing unit tests. Some of them, they started writing Terraform scripts, infrastructure as code to be able to deploy spin environments and then destroy them and then recreate them as needed. So some of them, they moved on to, now that they've got good time, they moved on to performance testing, started doing, capacity testing, load testing, volume testing, stress testing, and all of that. And some of them moved to security testing, identifying the vulnerabilities as well. And most importantly, the biggest benefit that we got is we were always struggling to build the test data. We were not quite effective in test data management. If you're running an organization, if you're especially a product development company, you would understand the importance of creating realistic and representative test data sets, which we were struggling, right? And we could do that. And then finally, the last one that I wanted to mention about is metrics. So we started adopting DORA metrics. We started looking at the deployment frequency. Because we dismantled all test teams, separate test teams. We made them part of Scrum teams. We made them part of the full development cycle teams. As a result, they are not limiting themselves to one thing, and they are adding value across multiple areas. And therefore, we started capturing the deployment frequencies, lead times, time to restore, change failure rate. So I would suggest that from my personal experience, embracing CI/CD, taking testers up the value chain as a result of that has given great dividends and really worked as a retention tool as well. So I highly encourage people to give it a thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Kishore. Thanks for your thoughts. I would like for Joy to take over and share his thoughts.
Sure. So I think just to add a little bit of to what Kishore had said, I think he's beautifully covered pretty much the whole landscape. So given my experience in the last 5 or 6 years, I would say, where we were building e-commerce, a mobile app and a website for which was hitting somewhere north of 15,000 orders a day. When we started with your team with manual testing, but Lakshman, but sooner or later when we started really trying to release more and more features, it really became difficult for us because the testers was doing the same mundane testing, sanity testing, and things like that. And that's where we figured that, okay, these manual testing is not really going to help. We really have to switch to automation. So that was a very big learning for us that, okay, yes, at some point of time, there are tasks that, has to be fully automated. Not just going halfway is not going to help. And like Kishore was saying, it also helped bringing our testers a bit up the value chain, giving them more new skills, a new paradigm to think about. So that really helped us in the current ecosystem today. Since we are still starting up a rather small set of users, so we are quite okay with using just the manual testing. So for me, it completely depends on the scale and the life stage of your product where you are. But sooner or later, as you start growing, you definitely have to look at automating things and making sure simple things like sanity testing and things like that, there's no regression on the previous feature. These things have to be automated. Otherwise, just the whole planning in terms of Scrum and 2-week agile and all that will just be thrown out of the window as soon as these things happen. So yeah, I just wanted to add that to what Kishore said.
Thank you, Jai. Thank you. Kalyan, I request you to share your thoughts.
Yeah, so my friends Joy and Kishore has already covered almost everything that probably one could discuss in this topic. So I would probably take a question which has just popped up. Someone has just asked about what are the common misconceptions about the role of automation in quality engineering and testing. So this is probably I could very well relate this question to me in the business where we are in. We are a product as well as service-based company, where we also thought, okay, why not we just automate the testing of our product, and it would probably help us run away from the testing team. We don't even have to deploy a testing team and things like that. So one of the common misconceptions that any business probably out of not having much knowledge about testing or quality engineering would think that automation can replace the human testers completely, which is far distant to the reality. And automating your product or a project would start resulting in cost savings straight away. So that's also not true, because it also requires a lot of investment in terms of choosing the software license, and in order to perform this automation testing, you would require specific skill sets which not everyone would have, and we need to hire experts and lay a team there. So it's a long-term benefit rather than a short-term one. So looking at the business need and the requirement, we should probably take that approach, whether we need to automate or take a manual approach versus have a mix of both. Okay, so and in one of the previous topics, Kishore has already pointed out saying automation will solve all the issues. Okay, so that's not true again. So automation will only do the job of what it is asked to do. Like, okay, you do this, and it will only do that. But so it lacks that quality, this approach of what a human angle can bring in. And wherever there is this human intervention required, where AI and such sort of things can bring in, there this automation would lack. And obviously with automation, it's definitely not a one-time effort, which most of the people feel. So the product keeps on evolving, which means this automation scripts and this CI/CD, which has been talked a lot about, that also need to be in place, which goes hand in hand with automation, along with that testing team, who also needs to continuously convert their scripts to always be ready for the changes that are coming in from the new releases. Okay, so that's where we took the shift left approach, where we make the testers integral part of the projects right from the initial stages of the project itself. Traditionally, it has been seen where testers are dedicated only to the one phase of the project. Do we really need a tester at this point of the phases and things like that? But rather, once if a tester is playing the role of analyst, and even before the project starts, then they would get a more holistic view of the project and start contributing more from the data perspective as well, and not from the just what the end user would look at it. Okay, so that's what is really helping us. And yeah, so just to answer your question, automation there are a lot of misconceptions which we kind of probably touch based on. I hope this answers. I'm sorry, I think I kind of deviated.
Thanks for the elaborated answer, Kalyan. Just to summarize, common misconceptions: automation does not replace manual testing. There is human angle that is definitely missing. In your shift left approach, you bring that closer to the development, probably through in-sprint automation, and automation testers and in general testers playing analyst role kind of brings the maturity of the product itself. And automation is not once done and be done kind of effort. It has to be continuously maintained and evolved. Thanks for the elaborated answer. I think we can, going back to the previous question about technologies and strategies, just summarizing as we are getting more questions. It was a very well thought, holistic answers thoughts that we have received. Test automation seems to be a consistent theme that one needs to consider when it comes to quality engineering in the context of digital disruption. Kishore mentioned that reaping the benefits in the long run. It's not that like automation we will start to see the results and the benefits at the get-go, but in the long run it will start to pay the dividends. The importance of CI/CD, what popularly called as DevTestOps, making continuous integration an integral part of software development lifecycle in a meaningful fashion, can improve the quality big time, whether through code coverage, whether test coverage, and having a robust framework that can take care of your automation testing and in general testing, whether test management, data-driven testing, everything is very much required to look at it holistically instead of in bits and pieces. One other thing that probably I would like to add is I also want to underscore the importance of metrics-based that Kishore mentioned. One other thing that probably I would like to add that we have been seeing lately is industry trying to leverage autonomous testing, especially with generative AI and other AI technologies coming in. That is becoming more and more practical, and we anticipate that in coming years there will be a serious consideration of autonomous testing, which we are already started to playing with, and seeing some real-time applications already. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions. So far, we have received one question that
There's one more question from Nagaraju. How is the role of human testers and quality engineers changing in the digital landscape?
great question, Nagaraju. Kishore, would you like to take that question?
Yeah, sure. Actually, like when I, as I said, from my personal experiences, once we embrace the CI/CD, there is a bit of, I would say, confusion in the minds of the QA engineers. Like, what are we going to do now? Everything is getting automated, and what's my role going to be when they're not able to see the bright side of it? And these are the kind of questions that would pop in their mind. But knowing the kind of journey that we are on, especially we are a 100% cloud-based company, IT company, and then we have embarked on a journey of embracing AI and machine learning. In fact, we started doing some experimentation during the last 1 quarter. We have asked all the people to start using tools like Copilot, AI Genie, Ponycode, to generate. Because previously people used to write unit test cases. Now, with the emerging technology landscape, with the AI, ML, IoT, blockchain, this generative AI, ChatGPT, and all those things now, and especially when we experimented with these tools, we realized that we are getting close to 10% of performance gains. And I would firmly believe that the day is not so far where we would see some of the AI and ML tools would create an intelligent test automation suite with the self-healing capabilities as well. The other thing is, as I mentioned, that we are a cloud-based company. So you have to be innovative in terms of how you would test different functions, especially if someone is embracing cloud, and if you're using Lambda functions, data lakes, S3 buckets, API gateways. So you have to modernize your approach of how do you test those SaaS applications, and how do you enhance your quality practices. That is one challenge that we have thrown at our teams, and they've done exceedingly well when they've seen an opportunity to learn and make a difference as well. I see that next in the next few years, I would say that it's going to be a very interesting landscape for human testers, especially with the advent of all these AI infused applications. And we're looking at next generation voice interfaces. We're looking at color sensing sensor applications. We talked about these days autonomous driving is quite a popular topic. We've got 3D printing, NLP is coming up, AI engines are coming up on large scale. So I would say that sky is the limit for a human tester in terms of embracing the predictive, prescriptive, and descriptive generative analytics and making a true difference to the end user experiences. And I would say that these are exciting times, and with the digital disruption, quality engineering is going to play a very, very vital role. And this is how I talk to my staff and my team members. This is how I show them what is on the brighter side, and what all they could do. Sky is the limit, I would say.
Very well said, Kishore. So leveraging AI, ML, using it to the advantage, and ultimately improving the end user experience. Very well said. That will definitely change how human testers will continue to, and automation as well to some degree, how this will continue to operate and function. Great. Thank you. Moving on to the next question, how can businesses measure the effectiveness of their quality engineering and testing efforts? And what metrics should they be tracking? Jai, I would love for you to share your thoughts on this.
Sure, Lakshman. So I think from what we used to do, like you were sharing before, the shift left approach, where we started involving all the testers from the very beginning of what features are we going to launch, what are the different large, I would say, projects that we are going to do. So they were very much, one, they were always involved in terms of what is happening or what we are building. Secondly, what was very important, that once we launched a big feature, and since the app and the website was into e-commerce, so anything that breaks if anything breaks, it directly impacts the conversion, the traffic, so on and so forth. So for us, we had given them simple matrix, make sure all the features that you are rolling out or giving sign off on, you do not impact traffic, you do not impact conversion. And this is far more easier for them to relate to also, because the whole ecosystem is looking at that, and they also feel that, okay, they are as responsible for for the conversion, turnover, traffic as anybody else in the team. So that really helped us to give that extra boost to our testers as well, that, okay, look, it doesn't matter of your role, you are equally responsible for the kind of turnover we do on a X Sunday, or so on and so forth. So for us, it was doing these simple things. Obviously, in terms of the number of bugs reported, the kind of bugs reported, those are, I would say, the vanilla things that almost everybody does. But linking the QAs to a business outcome, that really helps a lot.
Thank you. Very well said, Jai. I think, yes, the common metrics like defect tracking, traceabilities, bug reports per sprint, etc., are plain vanilla things that it is assumed that a lot of people will be using. But going above and beyond and trying to look at user behavioral analytics to see how user has converted something or made a purchase, added revenue, or did an activity that you wanted to do, and trying to track that and constantly improve is an excellent insight, actually. Thanks for that. That's, yes. With that, I think there are no more questions. So I will hand it over to Roma
And
to conclude.
yeah, Lakshman, I would like to put my appreciation on record for NHOPS because you are part of our journey. And when I say that we are deploying web applications, mobile applications, which are being used by general public of of two big countries, how much importance the penetration and security testing would how much it matters is I don't need to explain it, and I would like to put my appreciation on record and thank NHOPS to bring that expertise to the table and being one of our partner and helping us on our journey. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. We enjoyed the journey and we continue to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say seconding Kishore, it's been an absolute pleasure working with the team at NHOPS, and every organization that I am a part of, I always make sure NHOPS is part of the user journey. And for me, they are always the advocates of my users. So it really helps the whole ecosystem to have such such an amazing partners with us.
Thank you. That means a lot, Joy. That means a lot.
Yeah. So I just want to summarize saying, so I was we used the penetration testing services quite often for our products, and our products are used by enterprise level of customers all across US and UK and in Middle East. So it's a general ask that can you share your penetration testing results from a third party vendor and not the internal team. So that becomes more important for us to hire an expert who could do such exercise for us. And this is not just like a one-time exercise. We need to produce these results to keep up with the renewals and contracts once in every quarter, and even to that matter on demand. Okay, so because this is a product that would keep on evolving, and we never know which kind of patches would impact the penetration testing. So no matter how much ever we have the knowledge of overcoming these penetration testing issues, we always go back to NHOPS at least a couple of times in a year to get our products tested. And I would highly recommend you guys for any penetration testing needs. And to that matter, you guys are experts in various other areas. Yeah.
Thank you, Kalyan. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you, each and everyone, Kishore, Kalyan, and Joy, for your thoughtful insights.
I think we have one question. Sorry, someone has just left a question.
Sure. Yeah, can AI tools replace manual and automation testers in near future? So, Kalyan, you want to take it?
Yeah, so I think we kind of touch based upon this. Like, it's practically not possible to replace human intervention. So it would help to greater extent, but it's again the business choice to pick up which approach would rather help them. So either the automation approach or the manual approach. So if there is a complex landscape where it is continuously changing, no matter how much ever technology efficiency that we bring in, automation efficiency, that's a failed approach. So we will need to hire expert advocacy like of you guys to help us with the approach of what is the best approach in this case. For example, you guys have helped us decide whether we should take an automation approach versus manual approach in our own product itself. Okay, so which is being used all across the globe now. So it's such a product which keeps on changing almost quite often. So we decided to go with manual approach with some flavor of automation in its place. So I think just to answer your question, it would minimize the manual approach, but it will not completely eliminate.
Got it. Yep. Yeah, from our perspective, what we have seen is AI and automation in general has helped, at least in the long run, increase the productivity, but not replace manual efforts. So that's a pattern that we have seen. Cool. I think with that, it's a wrap. Handing it over to Roma. Before I do that, thank you very much, gentlemen. It was wonderful discussing with you all. I've learned some good insights, and I hope all the participants did as well. So thank you again. Over to you, Roma.
So thank you, Lakshman, and thank you, Joy. Thank you, Kalyan and Kishore, for sharing your first-hand experiences and the practical insights that will help any other organization to take over the next peak of software testing and quality assurance. I would also like to thank Lakshman for bringing up this insight in such a clear and concise manner to our audience. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our audience for keeping this interaction interactive and engaging throughout the session. Lastly, I just like to add that a recording of this webinar will be available on our website and social media handles. So please feel free to pass it on to your network, friends, and colleagues. With this, we end this roundtable, and it was a great interaction from everyone's side. So thank you, all of you, and we'd like to see more of these audience in our next upcoming roundtables. So thank you, and have a great week ahead.